Hey guys, I just wanted to make a quick video to demonstrate how we would go about luring with our dogs. This is Brady, German Shepherd, and he's pretty experienced, so he'll probably catch on to things pretty quickly. Your dog might take a little longer, might have a little bit slower success rate, but that's okay. Just take your time and be persistent with training. So the first thing that I want to go over is how to lure with our hands and the proper luring position of our hands. So what's really important is that when we're luring, that our treat is being shown enough to where it keeps our dogs engaged. But if you cover up the treat too much, then we start to lose engagement. At the opposite end of the spectrum, if you cover the treat up just barely, then they can get the treat and we're unintentionally rewarding them at the wrong time. So remember, just like all of our training, that timing is really, really important. Hey, leave it. Yes. Good boy. So yeah, timing is really important. And also after that, I want to talk about when we're giving treats. When we're giving treats, we have to make it very clear. And so we're going to completely remove our thumb away from the treat and make it obvious that you're getting the treat now. But if we kind of do this thing where I see a lot of times where people are trying to give their treats to their dog with their hands, with the tips of their fingers, then the dog tries to grab it from their hands and our fingers end up getting bit and the dog gets blamed for biting our hand. And that really just doesn't make sense because dogs don't have thumbs or a way to grab things out of our hands. So we have to make it really obvious what we're asking of them through using the proper body language. Also, another thing that is that we talk about in the homework is our ignore hand, which is a complete fist. And that says that you are not getting the treat. Good, leave it. He already knows that one, obviously. And that, therefore, it makes it very clear to them that they are not getting the food. So we're always going to hold it out like this, and we're never going to be moving it away because that makes dogs want to go forward. It's always going to be still, and it's their job to move away from us. Good, leave it. Just like how Brady did. Let me get him in a better spot so you can see. Come here, buddy. So right there, I'm going to be using my luring, yes, in order to get him into a position that I would want them to be in. And that's one really awesome tool that's really simple because we no longer have to use force in order to get our dog into a specific position. We can get them to go into any position by simply luring them, and now they're getting rewarded for it, as opposed to maybe using a leash or a collar grab and pulling them into a position, and then they just don't really feel comfortable, and that makes our compliance rate go down. So once again, if we make them want to do the behavior that we're asking them to do, instead of me saying you have to do this, we're always going to have a better compliance rate in the long run. So we have our three types of hand signals that we're going to be using for this. We have our lure hand, we have our treat giving hand, and then we have our ignore hand. The next thing that I want to talk about is how to actually go about luring. What I see a lot of the time is people moving the food too far away from their dog's nose, and therefore their dog becomes less interested in the food. In the beginning of doing these exercises, we really need to make sure that their noses stay really attached to our hands, and that's what's going to help keep them engaged. If we have the food further away from their nose, further away from their face, specifically their mouth, then they're going to lose interest like that, as opposed to if it was closer to them. Yes. So really make sure that you're keeping your hand close to their muzzle, and that's what's going to keep them engaged. I'm going to start with Brady now, and just like any game that we do with dogs, we have to make sure that we are starting with the ready, and ending on the enough. So I didn't want to say it too loud or else he's going to start to get excited, and I didn't want to trick him or anything. But anyways, so yeah, I'm going to get started. I'm going to stop talking and please just try to pay attention to my body language. And also, I always want to start off with very short distances, very short successes, very small successes, and then I'm going to build them up more and more and more. So the duration is very short in the beginning. The distance that I'm luring them is very short, and just make sure that you're doing this where there's no distractions, unlike what I'm doing. And never do this off leash with your dog. At this point, your dog's training isn't quite there yet, and so we've got a long ways for off leash stuff. And so make sure that you're doing this in your own home and without a leash. Ready? Yes. 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 Let's start adding in the good marker. Good, good, good. Yes. Good, good, good. Yes. It's okay if they kind of push their mouth into your hand, that's totally fine. Just make sure that they're not actually biting your hand. We do want them to be engaged. If they kind of accidentally put a little teeth on you and they're not trying to actually bite your hand or anything, don't discourage that. You can start to squash their drive for the exercise if you do things like that. So once again, just if it's making you uncomfortable and they're starting to bite too hard, then you might want to stop. But if they are pushing into your hand and they're really being active about trying to get the food, that's totally fine. Just make sure that they're not actually getting it until you mark with the yes and reward. Ready? Yes. Good. Good. Yes. Good boy, good boy. Good, yes. Good. Good, yes. Now I want to demonstrate enough. Now I want to demonstrate the ignore hand once again when he's a little more excited, and so that way we are kind of testing him a little more. It's easy when he's calm and it's easy when he's relaxed, but when we get him amped up, it's good to practice with adding in the ignore hand because it helps to test them a little bit more. And we can also start to incorporate our leave it command as soon as they give us the behavior that we're asking them to. Ready? Ready? Good. Good. Yes. Good. 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 Leave it. Good job. Ready? Yes. Good. Yes. Good. Good. Leave it. Yes. Ready? Good.
believe it. Yes.
So that's pretty much what it looks like. And now Brady did a great job displaying pretty much everything that I was trying to accomplish with this video. So thank you for that, Brady. And yeah, if you guys have any questions or comments, concerns, please feel free to leave a comment or text me or Kimmy. And yeah, we will get back to you as soon as possible with an answer. Remember to have fun with training. That's what's gonna keep you doing it every single day. So just have fun with your dogs and make sure that everyone's enjoying the process. Have fun training, guys.